15 minutes, starting now.
So you said that you'll miss Preston. Were there services or things that you went to or anything that kind of?
I don't know. What I remember most about Preston is him smiling. His facial expressions, they were unique. He was a character. And he was just a jovial person. I hung around with him more years ago. And it was pretty neat. After my divorce, I used to go out more. And now right now I'm just concentrating more or less on my work. I put my, you gotta understand this. A lot of people, like I'm 68, a lot of people say, oh, when are you gonna retire? Well, I look at people that don't retire. Colonel Sanders, when he was 70 years old, started Kentucky Fried Chicken. He went to 1,000 different people or more with his recipe, trying to sell it, trying to get someone interested in it. And 1,000 times people said no. And he didn't stop. He didn't give up. So that's the kind of enthusiasm. He had the fire inside of him to keep going. And I feel as though I have that same fire, and it hasn't gone out yet. And I want to keep doing things. That's my enjoyment.
So how do you feel when people talk to you about retiring or say stuff like?
I laugh about it. I said, I tell him my chiropractor told me not to retire. A lot of his friends, after 2 years, they retired and they passed away. So that's part of it. You gotta keep moving. Your body, if you want to keep it at rest, it's going to stay at rest, and you're going to lose all your muscle mass. That's not what I want for myself. The more you do, the more you want to do. The better, the more you move, the easier it is to move. And I think I want to go back to the gym this winter. I don't know. I plowed snow last year, and I'm up in the air right now whether I'm going to do it again this year. I think I want to try and get myself into shape rather than do something like that. And that part of it will be my me time, to lose weight, to get back in shape, and then go on from there.
So tell me a little bit about what you need to do to decide if you're gonna work this winter plowing.
Well, I plowed a big parking lot last year, and the kids I plowed with, I had a big loader, and the kids I plowed with weren't much help. So I just kept my mouth shut and just opened the whole place up. It was a Walmart. It was huge. It was a lot of work, but work has never bothered me. I just put my head down and just do the job. But I have a truck that I had to bring to the job. It wasn't four-wheel drive. I'd have to drive in the middle of a snowstorm. The roads were lousy. I know how to drive in the snow, but is it worth it? And I'm starting to think it's not. By going out in the middle of the night and driving down a highway when it hasn't been plowed and the traction is lousy. I can do it, but whether it's smart to do it is another thing. So I don't know if I want to do that anymore.
So how do you think you'll go about deciding whether you want to do it or not?
Well, the guy that I plowed for last year called me, and I didn't answer the phone because I'm not sure what to tell him, because I know what he's going to ask. So a big part of it will be how busy I am this fall, how much money I can save up, and I won't have to work this winter. I come from a family that, once in a while they plow in the winter time, but my father said, you can't do anything in the winter. It's going to cost you money, so don't do anything. So he won it. They won it. They parked their equipment, and one of the good things about doing that, you don't run them in the winter time. And in New England, if the people that run their equipment in the winter time, they have salt damage, rust, and corrosion, and it shortens the life of your equipment. So there's a lot to be said for that.
So was last winter the first time that you plowed?
Yeah, I would, for a while there I didn't. I mean, I have plowed, not to the extent that I plowed last winter, but part of the reason why I plowed last winter, I sold one of my loaders and bought another one, a newer one. It's still an old machine, but it's a better machine. And the difference between the two machines, I figured I'd work and pay off the difference, and I did. So I made some money with it, and that was the reasoning behind it. So I had to justify in my own mind why I bought the machine. I wanted to put it to work, which is, I'm still putting it to work. It was a good move. I made money with the machine. It's a better machine. It's a machine worth more than the one I sold, and I did good. So it was a win-win. But that's what I do. I buy good used equipment and work it, and then if I decide to sell it, I can make money on it. So my thing is the newer stuff. The newer stuff is more complicated. You need a laptop computer to work on them. The stuff that I have, that's older stuff, you don't need that. So you can get any mechanic to work on it. It's simpler. So I like to keep things simple. And I think you make more money that way. When you got to call someone in because they need a laptop to diagnose what's wrong with your piece of equipment, it costs you a lot of money, and that sets you back. So there's different schools of thought about that. Yeah, some people think you can need the newer stuff for production, and that's true. But at my age, I'm not interested in so much in going that route. I'm just interested in maximizing what I personally can make on what I personally can do. And so far, I've been pretty fortunate. It's worked out pretty well. See, the thing is, when you put people on your equipment, they're going to run it longer. It's going to need more maintenance. It's going to need more. It's going to have more breakdowns, and it's going to wear out faster. If I personally run it all, it has far less breakdowns. Yeah, you're still going to maintenance, but I only run a piece of equipment to do what I have to do on the job, and then I shut it down. So there's less wear and tear, less hours on the machine when I just do it myself. Where if you put someone on it, they're going to run the machine all day. Well, if I do that job and I get it done in 3 or 4 hours, I shut it off and I don't run that machine all day. So it burns less fuel and less likely to break something. And that's what it's all about. The breakdowns will kill you. Getting the job done efficiently, yeah, the problem is I can't be in 2 places at once. So I try and juggle everything. So sometimes it doesn't work, but most of the time it does. You know?
So what does making it work look like to you? What makes you decide that it's
What I have to do every day?
just that what you did was successful. Like, how do you define?
How do I define success?
Yeah.
Well, that's a tricky thing. I know how to build a business. It's a lot of hard work. So for instance, my screen room business. I bought a screen, a small one, about 7 or 8 years ago. My son said, "Why do you want to buy that, Dad?" I said, "Well, it'll keep me busy. So when I'm not doing anything, I'll go screen loom." And you can't sell a product unless you have a product. So I was slowly building the business up. Then I went and I bought a bigger screen off my uncle who deceased, and the one that wanted to put me out of business in 6 months. I bought his screen implant. Also bought his house and fixed it up and sold it. I don't know.
So you smile when you say that. Tell me a
Well,
little
I
bit
mean,
about
this
that.
guy, when you buy what it was his, and he went around telling everybody he's going to put you out of business, and I had nothing against him. And I'm sure it'd turn over in his grave if he knew that I owned his screen implant and I bought his house. But, I mean, what can I tell you? I mean, I didn't do it on a vengeance or anything. It just happened to come my way, and I jumped on it. Both of them were good deals, and I made money with both of them. So, I don't know. I mean, it's weird how things work. I never attacked him. I never reciprocated whatever he tried. It was just whatever, let it roll off my back. The old truth is, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. You let him play it out. It works better that way. You can sleep at night too. But those things happened, and my brothers laughed about it. But those things really happened. But if you want me to define success, One of the things we define success, if you've been in business for a number of years and you're still in business, you are successful, because it's tough. It's tough having your own business. But you gotta work when the work is there. You can't have any excuses, it's Saturday or it's Sunday. Because what happens with Screen Loam is that we're getting rain now. Then we'll get 2 days of dry weather. And you can maybe screen after that third day. Well, that might fall on a Sunday. So I'm not working Sunday. You can't say that. If you wanna have loom that you can sell, you gotta screen the loom when you can.
So that business, is that all yours? Like you do that, you pay?
I am in business. I bought all this equipment with my son, and I
Yeah.
also build houses.
But does he like do any of the work there? Or?
No, he doesn't. But he does get jobs for me, and he does his share.
Yeah.
And
What does his share look like?
huh?
What does his share like? How do you divide the work?
It's actually he owns 50%.
No, so no, I know like that's legally, but how do you guys
Well,
decide? who
like
does
for
what?
instance, I told him he's got his own business,
Yeah.
and I want to build houses. I've always wanted to build houses. But when I was in business with my brothers, we built one house,
Yeah.
and there was a lot of aggravation. My brothers didn't want to build anymore. My son's not afraid to take chances, and he's really good with
Yeah.
dealing with the people, and he's
Yeah.
really good at things that I'm not good at. Like he's good at picking out colors. He's good at dressing the house up. He's good at dealing with the subs to a degree, and
Yeah.
I deal with them also. And he has a business where he has a secretary, a bookkeeper, and he can do a lot of things that I'm out in the field all the time. I like doing the work, and I like being the hands-on guy. And he makes a lot of decision hands-off, and he deals with a lot, the lawyers, the accountants, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But he's there, and he's in one spot. I'm always traveling. I'm always going from job to job, and he'll call me like today. He called me. He says, "I got to meet with you, Dad, Wednesday. I'm meeting you, the framer. We got to go over that. There's a problem in the house that we got to resolve, where they frame something and it's not quite right, and we got to resolve that. And then they got to put the finish on it. And then he wants to go over with me because he deals with the customer. Only one person can deal with the customer. If too many people talk to the customer, it gets confusing. So he tells me, and I put my input, what I think. And I'll talk to the customer, but I don't want to get into the allowances and all that, and how much they allow for the kitchen. He's good at that, and he'll tell them. And I'll do the work. I've always been able to do the work. I used to be able to outwork anybody on a job. I'm getting older now. I can still work. I
Yeah.
probably can't outwork everybody on the job like I
Yeah.
used to, but I'm smarter about how I do things. But he's going to meet with me Wednesday. He wants to go over the landscape and what the guy wants us to do. The guy's going to do part of the landscaping himself, and what he wants us to do first. I screen the loom at the site, so he wants me to spread and grade the loom, and then clean up around the house. I dumped wood chips, so I'm going to put wood chips around the perimeter of the house, and then I'm going to spread the loom. So I got to bring another big loader there. But I have all the equipment. A lot of the equipment me and him bought, and some of the equipment I got when I split up from my brothers. Most of it is the equipment we bought, though. I can go. This is the most fun part for me. Every day I do something different,
Okay.
and that to me is important.